How's it going, everyone? It's Bomberman Dan, and today we're going to be looking at some Protoss versus Protoss strategies, or some general Protoss strategies, because I had this particularly interesting game where few key things came into play. So we're kind of analyze this game instead of really, well, I guess normally we analyze games, but really kind of analyze it a little bit more than we normally would. So it's not really about me winning, but more or less how it came about, and a couple really interesting things that could have changed the game. So anyhow, I'm spawning on the left side, and we do have sort of a cross spawns, which is good on this map, I feel, as a Protoss player, because you can secure these high yields relatively easily if you have to, and that especially becomes really handy sort of in the later game, because there is a high yield right there, and it is one of the easier high yields to obtain, in my opinion. But anyhow, I do start off with this standard 4-gate opener that a lot of you may see in my other games. And we can look at Mac here, who is doing relatively the same thing right now. He does have 3 workers on his gas. I find you get a little bit too much gas there. I haven't even gotten my gas geyser yet. And he does have a cybernetics core going down, so he will have a little bit more gas for an early stalker if he so chooses to get one. But I like to time mine relatively well with 2 probes on the assimilator instead of 3, and I do get a little bit later, so it matches up pretty well. So I'm at 56, 60 when it finishes, so pretty close. So I try to get this probe out of my base. You never want to keep probes there. I'm trying to get this probe off of my other probe, because I would like to keep that probe. So anyhow, we do have warp gate technology going down at a relatively the same time. I am chrono boosting mine. I do not believe Mac is chrono boosting his, so I will be getting my chrono boost or warp gate a little bit earlier than Mac. And he does get his early stalker, like we could have sort of predicted there. And an early stalker is, in my opinion, a lot better than an early zealot, which I decide to get because I do see he is making a unit. And whenever you see that, you have to always anticipate some sort of early cheese, early rush. So I did decide to get the zealot, which was sort of forced. I didn't really want to. I'd rather not. We do see an early where is it? Twilight Council. So he is taking up hard. He does not even have a second gateway built, unlike me, who has warp gate and has 3 gateways, and the 4th one is on the way. And we do see he does have a lot more units than me, but I do have a proxy pylon down here. The reason I chose this position is because it is relatively close to his base, but it is also across the way, so if he did have zealots, he'd have to come all the way around. But he does end up spotting it. He comes down here to spot for proxy pylons, which is good. He is checking. You should always check and stuff like that. He does manage to find it, but I do have my army on the way. I do outnumber his significantly, and he does try to kite this zealot, but I do have a same amount of stalkers, and he did end up facing me one-on-one there. So in terms of that, not really too much of a lead on my part. I do end up losing that to the force field, but I do kill off the sentry and the stalker, so actually not that big of a deal. We do see an early blink play going down and a robotics facility, and the reason I wouldn't particularly say that this play is too effective, there is a little bit of sentry micro. He is doing very good job with his sentry micro to keep me out of his base. He knows he can't defeat me, so he is buying time to get immortals out, as we can see. And I decided to get more zealots, just in case they do get stuck on the other side. So anyhow, he is overextending himself a little bit. He is getting blink stalkers, which requires gas. He is getting immortals, which require gas. He is still playing off of 1 base. This Twilight Council was a lot of gas, and he really is kind of overextending his gas limit a little. As you can see, he does have a lot more minerals than he has gas, and I'm pretty equal. I do like to keep the gas going a little bit higher, so that when I do get into the later games, when I do go for upgrades and a lot of stuff like that, I can't afford them. I do decide to expand while I have the time, while I'm putting pressure on him. I know he doesn't have an expansion up yet, unless he expands over here. But I'm fairly certain he has it. I'm fairly certain there's no probes that's going on. And I do like to keep my units here, because if he does start to come down the ramp, I can, in fact, move my units, not my units, but I can move my sentries to force field this off when there's at least half of his units down the ramp. So you always want to keep a look at your mini-map to make sure that if he is moving his units, you can, in fact, stop them with your sentry. But we do see this 1 base play, 3 warp gates, a robotics facility, sorry, and 2 more gateways. So, he does need to start pushing here. He does need more units, and he knows that. My Nexus is fully operational, but not mining at all right now. And I do decide to get +1 attack. And there's a little bit of a harassment going on here. I keep trying to keep him on his toes, make sure that he doesn't get anything out here that I can't really stop. I'm just trying to really force him to continuously make units, so that way he can't just pop out of nowhere and try to attack me. So I do move my units down here because I'm like, oh boy, I need some more zealots. And I am starting to transfer probes and start mining on this new base. And this is one of his better decisions. He does go with the observer. He does have blink, remember that. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, he does have blink. And he's going to go for some observer play. Now, this is really tricky and pretty good on his part. He does also decide to go for warp prism, which is also another good idea. He's going to try to get out of his base by whatever means necessary, and you're going to have to do that at some point in time. Now, on this map, we do see some like trees here, and that does allow for kind of a sneaky getaway because you can't see past them. So a blink stalker out of there could have been feasible. And we do see the blink stalker down here while I'm at the ramp. So good move by that. I should have taken the watchtower for some detection, but I don't see this observer, and the observer's like, hey, he does have a fully mined nexus. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I do see that he should not have stopped there. Gives me just enough time to move these out of the way. I did build a cannon up here for something like that, for DTs or something. And I'm like, holy crap. So what he really should have done is not to try to kill that pylon, but should have gone for my mineral line, which allows me to move my stalkers, or make more stalkers, and try to move them into position. And these stalkers, even though they died and really didn't do too much, they did buy me enough time to bring my entire army back and to kind of take care of this harassment, which, you know, isn't really too good. He does manage to save those 3 stalkers, so good harassment by him, but he did overextend himself quite a bit. But he also had enough time during that to move a warp prism into play and to try to kill this pylon off, which were good moves, but he did lose some stalkers, and he's only mining off of 1 base still, so he does need to keep those stalkers, because without those stalkers, he's kind of in some trouble. Again, he keeps this warp prism here. He doesn't think I can see it, but I can see it. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a second. So I move my units back, and I'm like, all right, I got to take this warp prism. So I think I don't get any shots off. He is microing that fairly well, which is good. You'd like to see that. And I do see the observer for a second, because I think I went to one of the cannon's range. And so I'm like, all right, I do probably need detection here. But instead, I like, all right, I'm going to go for a dark shrine. I am a little nervous, because I don't know how far ahead I am. And to be honest, I'm not that far ahead at all. He does have a better unit composition, sentries, immortal, or I guess 1 immortal. Thought he had more. We do see more on the way, and another robotics facility, and a lot of zealots. This is where I really start to get scared. I'm like, all right, everyone should probably know that zealots at close range do basically destroy stalkers. But the problem is, if you do kite with your stalkers, you should be good. And right now, I'm running mostly Stalker, quite a bit of Zealots, and a few Sentries, because I am trying to save up my gas for some DTs. Now, I do manage to force field that off, which is a good idea, and he does manage to force field my Stalkers off, which is not that great of an idea, because at this point in time, his Zealots can't attack my Stalkers, but my Stalkers can attack his Zealots. So, not very good move by him. I do force field more of the ramp so he can't get down here, and I don't know how much army he has here, so I'm getting a little scared. I decide